I can talk 2 hours about credit. I was just got back from Frankfurt, Germany, and I was teaching our military on credit. And it's amazing how there was about 3,500 people that I spoke to. And it's amazing how a lot of people don't even know or haven't seen a credit report in years. So the question, the ones that haven't seen me speak before, who has not seen me speak before on credit? Raise your hand. About half the room. Now the ones that did raise their hands, who has not seen your own credit report in more than 2 years? Raise your hand. And why is that? Why haven't you seen your credit report in 2 years? Aha. Her answer was that if you run your credit too often, you're going to ding your credit report or those inquiries. Not true anymore. The reason is there's soft and hard hits. Soft hits are when you check your own credit. freecreditreport.com, Experian.com, annualcreditreport.com. All those monitoring type of services like your bank offers are soft hits. Even if now when you go to a bank and you run your credit, Fair Isaac changed the rules on inquiries losing points on your scores within 30 calendar days, meaning that, let's say from the first day, not a calendar month, but 30 calendar days, let's say on the first of any given month, you go to 18 banks over the next 3 weeks, and they run your credit, 3 times each. That's about 50 hits. Really, they categorize them as mortgage hits, auto loan hits, credit card hits. So if you had, which is unlikely, 50 credit check hits from a mortgage bank or a number of banks, they only count it as one hard hit within that 30 days. So the second set of 30 days would be 2 hits, but they're so far apart, it doesn't have much of a negative impact in your score. From experience, you'll lose between 0 to 10 points per hard hit. A week later, you get it back. So you don't even know what happened. So don't be afraid to shop for a mortgage. If you go to broker John next week and you say, hey, don't run my credit, because someone from B of A, Wells Fargo ran it last week, don't be afraid, go ahead. So the rules on inquiries have changed. The reason why I'm asking that question, who hasn't seen your credit report in more than 2 years, you've got to know what's on there. And the ones that heard me speak before in the past, I've been doing public speaking for 20 years on this subject, is that of mistakes, fraud. Fraud is the biggest issue coming about nowadays. Also mistakes, according to Fair Isaac, mistakes happen by almost 90% of the time. I'll give you an example. My sister and I bought a piece of commercial property in Colorado Springs a couple weeks ago to close escrow. And they check credit before escrow closes. And knowing that I know credit like the back of my hand, a week before escrow closed, there was something on there that belonged to the wrong Robert Childs. So they drove down my score about 50 points. Well, knowing what I know, I fixed it. That's why you have to know what's on your credit report at all times. Check your credit 4 to 6 times a year for accuracy. You have to. You think you might have a 755 credit score, and you haven't seen it in 2 years. You go to buy a house, 3, 4, 5, 6 small collection accounts show up. Your last name is Smith, Jones, Wing, like in the Vietnamese committee. It dropped your score 100 points, and guess what? You can't close it. You close your escrow to buy that house. You got it. Notes on there. Mistakes do happen. I got a client report right here. We're actually just fixed. She hired about a week ago. She's got 140 90-day lates. She's got 27 60-day lates and 30 30-day lates. The reason is that she owned 29 properties and all went into foreclosure. Now she's trying to buy the next one. So this is the bottom of the barrel. I've never seen credit this bad before. But the point is, about 25% of the items on here are mistakes. The lates are incorrect and things of that such. So mistakes will happen, especially in large quantity. So please would note on your credit at all times. You have to. Okay. The short time I have to speak, I don't know. So I apologize. The one that don't have this flyer, I can actually email to you as well. But these are the common items on the first page that can be on a report, even if it is a mistake. Late payments, which are very common nowadays. Collection and charge-off accounts. I mean, I can talk about collections for 3 hours. It's very, very common how those get a mistake. Even if something is completely your fault, you owe Macy's $2,000 from years ago, and you used the credit card. It goes to collections because of a bad economy. Let's say you work for a newbie and you got laid off. There may be a certain point in time where you legally may not have to pay that debt, except for the IRS child support repayment of student loans. All other debts, like certain mortgages, credit cards, automobile loans, they may not have to pay based on the statute of limitations. How do we know? We take a look at the credit report. But these are very common things, especially repossessions, foreclosures, guys. Boy, they're really slamming, killing people's credit scores. So, in a bad economy, I've been in California 28 years from the East Coast, and this is the third down in the market. This is the worst yet. And will it continue to get worse? I don't know, ask CNN. But based on these type of items, these are the main reasons why. Also, one thing you want to be careful with is that paying off, especially people who do loans, please be careful about who does real estate loans in this room. A good majority of people. The ones that do loans, you ever tell a client, let's say the great economy back in 04, 05, and you tell the client, say, the client, this $1,000 debt must be paid off as a collection account, and they pay it off because the lender will not close the loan because of it, based on the DTI, and they pay it off, and their score dropped 50, 60 points. Does anyone know why that happens? What I'm getting at is the age of an account based on the credit report called the date of last activity, or date reported, depends on the credit report. And negative credit only stays on for a total of 7 years. So if an account is 5 years old, and the lender says, John, you got to pay off that bad debt before we can close your loan in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, guess what? You just woke it up. You just renewed 5 of those 7 years in that example, so in 2 more years, those are going to come off the report. So if you pay it off or negotiate some kind of settlement, you just renewed 5 of the 7 years, and it's going to prolong the collection account on the report as a 0 debt dropped in the person's credit score. So you have to be careful, even if you guys are negotiating it. I know, like in the handout that's right here, it says, paying off certain collection accounts. You may not have to. You may not have to pay it. And if you do on certain type of accounts, depending on the age of it, you may drop and kill your credit score. So please be careful. Talk with me first. Make sense? Also, on the second page of this pamphlet, it's really quick. I don't know how much time do I have? Okay. I can sit here all day, guys. Say literally on this thing is that there's 2 primary types that will make or break your credit score. So you guys have all talked out and had a long weekend too. The third item on this thing is timely payments. You got to pay bills on time. I know it's hard if you lose your job and you try to do your best to make the minimum payment on your credit cards, but if push comes to shove, move your due dates on your creditors so that you don't accrue any lates. Now, think about a late is if your payment due Monday and you pay it on Tuesday like a credit card, a late fee will be assessed on the credit card account. But late does not show up by law until it's a full 30 days like the following month. So it gives you some time. But move your due dates. A lot of people don't even know they can move their due dates on their creditors. Moving the mortgage due date is a little bit more tough. They like to be paid on the first because they usually have a 2-week grace period. But credit cards, automobile loans, student loans, just move the due dates. You'll be surprised how flexible they are. Okay? From experience, when a 30-day late shows up, not even a 60, 90, or 120. 120 is like a charge-off status, but 30-day late can reduce your score an average of 5 to 15 points if each one occurs. I mean, eventually it bottoms out. You can't go below 300. That's the lowest you can go on the scale. The lowest credit score I've ever seen in this business is a 340. That was me. I did that myself. But lates can really add up. This is 30. Mortgage late, probably double that. So just move your due dates. Make sense? The last item of this page.
May I please have your attention? The computers have gone down again. This may be an all-day
so disappointed. Yeah.
Give us a few minutes while they try to reconnect the network. If you're waiting to check out, just wait in line or give it another couple minutes. You will not be able to log on to the computers until the system goes back up.
They said you order pizza,
Thank
be the
you.
first to get in line. So, jeez, I know. When I was at the military base over in Frankfurt, Germany, they had like a drill go off, and they forgot to disconnect the speakers in the big auditorium that we're at. And, oh man, everyone just hit the deck. It was funny. Anyway, so the last item on this page is revolving. Now, according to Fair Isaac, your FICO score, Fair Isaac and Company, revolving makes up 1/3 of your credit score, where lates make up another third with a combination of a lot of lates. So what I'm getting at is that keep your revolving debt low, if possible, below 35% or less of your limits. Now, the human element, when you do a loan,